cheese.
Yeah.
You know? Or,
yeah, you need to name it like brisket or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something like food or
beefcake.
Beefcake. I thought about banchan. I think that's a good name. That's like the little side dishes you get when you get Korean like barbecue or Korean food, really.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
You know, the little they're all collectively known as banchan.
I'm always
like banchan.
I like that.
Yeah. Or cheesecake.
Cheesecake. I love cheesecake.
Cheesecake would need to be a white cat. Noodle's good.
Yeah.
Noodle's good.
Yeah. If it's a light colored cat. Yeah. Sometimes I like the human names because they're funny.
Yeah. Charlie.
Yeah. You name it. At one point, my cat's Leia's name was previously like Jennifer.
Jennifer. That's right.
Exactly. So there's I find that funny sometimes, but also
Martin.
Yeah, Martin. Dexter.
Yeah, that's it's Jack.
I think that stuff sometimes can be very funny.
No, naming the animal is the best part. Let's not deny it. Like,
absolutely.
But
then you're like you're trying to find and match the personality.
They have to show their name to you a little bit.
Especially when you're adopting and they've been around a minute. So like they have a personality.
They have their little habits and shit.
Absolutely.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, Victoria.
Oh, you know what I need?
What?
A Breath of Fresh movie.
Oh my God, me too.
Cool.
That's a movie I like to see.
Oh my God, hi. You're listening to A Breath of Fresh movie.
Guys.
Hey,
Happy holidays.
Happy holiday.
Meow,
We're
meow,
back. We're back.
Meow, meow, meow.
This is a weekly podcast where me, Victoria Harley,
and me, Chelsea Pope.
Each week we watch a movie neither one of us has ever seen before, and then we talk about it.
Yes. And we might not talk about everything, but we're going to talk about like anything. So, I mean, just from the get, we're going to spoil stuff. Spoilers ahoy.
You've been warned.
Ding, ding, ding.
This week, we're talking about the 2022 fictional biopic, Weird, the Al Yankovic Story, directed by Eric Apple. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yay.
This was
we're fans.
This was fun.
We're fans. We liked it. It was
we really
good.
liked it.
And we watched UHF. Check out that previous episode. 24.
So jog back and check it out. I told you to do that if you're on social media.
Yeah, pay attention.
Pay attention. I told you. Anyway, in case you're not aware of this movie, it was released on Roku November 4th this year. Yeah. Just on Roku, although they literally advocated people downloading it illegally. Which is just,
Weird Al is he's
cool.
He's a man of the people,
Yep.
Which is part of the reception and enjoyment of this is just that he
pure.
Is such a there's pureness
also,
to it.
We'll talk about it more, but he wanted it to have at least some kind of theatrical release, and Roku was so that way it could be considered for the Oscars. But right? Roku was like, no, I don't think we're gonna do that. Yeah. So I think they're up for creative arts Emmys.
That's okay.
Which is fine.
But it is really just one of the more enjoyable movies I've watched this year. Genuinely, earnestly, I say
and
that.
This is, the unexaggerated true story about the greatest musician of our time.
Yep.
Completely true.
Exactly.
Not one thing is inaccurate about this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is true to a T.
Yeah,
so
I learned so much.
It's like opening up a history book and you blow off the dust and you go, wow.
Like, I remember when that happened.
I get this.
Yes.
I'm smarter having watched this film. I'm more intelligent. I'm more
I understand my babysitter more.
Yeah.
My childhood baby. I still have a babysitter.
Oh, yeah. You baby.
Okay, so, I mean, there are so many great people in this, but off the top, can we just talk about, like, Daniel Radcliffe carries this movie off in his pockets.
This is not, this isn't a novel thought. Like this is I appreciate actually, like in terms of social media sentiment too, just like the respect and appreciation that he is doing more offbeat.
Oh yeah. He's been doing that
silly shit and just fun. Like he's just I like that he isn't I don't know. It's just, again, same with what makes Weird Al so likable, right? Yeah. There's an accessibility factor and wanting to just be a goof. Yeah. Right. And wanting to just play things that are not, you're not just seeking prestige. You're not just
Yeah.
going after the paycheck,
We
right?
wanna have fun.
You're going to do a Roku movie.
I mean, yeah.
Right? You know, like it's like Daniel Radcliffe, right?
I mean,
There's something so camp about that, then
have-
it's very satisfying to watch.
I mean, I've never been more attracted to Daniel Radcliffe.
He's cut as hell.
Holy
and
shit.
and that's part of it, right? Is he's so cut.
He's beautiful.
He's committed and silly.
It's
And he can sing.
Yeah, although he does lip sync.
Oh, he does lip sync.
It's Al.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because they did the recordings are the same, right?
I mean, watch that dude lip sync. Like, his
well,
veins are
because
popping
he
out of
can.
his neck.
Because he's committed. He's an artist.
And he's cut. Yeah.
He does. Yeah, no, he's cut as hell in this movie.
He looks good.
It's hot. Well, we like hot, goofy guys, right?
Well, yeah,
Don't we?
that's just it, because it's like, oh, somebody who can joke around about presentation or gender. They understand that it's just a fucking game. Let's paint with all the colors.
Absolutely. And it also, too, just it feels like an homage to UHF in terms of like just like, well, a lot of Weird Al is that presentation. I think he's very self-aware of his own goofiness.
Well,
so then
like,
when he presents himself in his own works, he deliberately will, aggrandize himself,
Yes,
right? So like,
because,
like at the beginning of UHF, he's all cut,
Yeah.
and he's the Rambo,
Right.
and the Indiana
well, in
Jones
his mind,
and
he's a
stuff.
hero. And like, for those of you who haven't seen
Yes.
UHF, it's about somebody through pure sort of chance getting his own TV station. And it's
Yeah.
like, what would you do if you had your own TV station? So it's a series of hilarious little vignettes and sketches and show ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a hilarious, great party movie.
Spatula City, y'all.
Spatula City.
I fucking love
I
Spatula
love Spatula
City,
City
dude.
so much. Cackle. But this movie feels almost like the guy who ran that station was given the chance to make a biopic
Yes.
about himself.
It feels loyal to that tone,
spirit.
and the spirit. Yes,
Yes.
spirit. I don't want to say
Like-
brand sounds sort of cheap and commercial.
I know, it's so overused at
There's
this
something
point.
honestly very wholesome
Yes.
about
it's the
way this was executed.
This was such a wholesome
And-
movie. I felt
yeah.
so happy
I love
watching
it.
it.
And look, I'm saying this is like, I went into it thinking like, I don't know how they're going to top Walk Hard, because that is the ultimate like musician biopic parody, right? How are they going to do it?
Yep.
And they
did it.
like the thing is, it's you want to do something that's parody, and then you have that sort of thing like,
yes.
you're staring down the barrel of that. Just be authentic. Don't worry about being you.
Yeah,
You know? And,
and
that's the thing about this.
and
It was stupid fun.
And that is all it worries about, is being itself. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's what makes it wholesome, fun. And also it's like, yeah, Walk Hard is a natural comparison to make. And that is
right, because they're both
right.
these parodies that have
tap
sort of a
into-
love and homage to the genre that
they understand the structure. They understand how biopics inherently, even if they're about somebody you love and care about, you watch, and at some point you're like, well, it didn't really happen like that, but okay.
Right.
There's
The
this
cinematics.
there's this liberty taken. So like
Yes.
this movie, once I don't know why it
It just
wasn't
goes so absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a surprise to learn that, okay, this movie is a parody itself of biopic. And I mean, it felt like someone read my dream journal.
Yeah.
Because I have talked at people so much about how much I hate biopics and how they're done so badly,
They're tedious.
so often.
They very much Oscar
and
bait.
this movie was
they
like,
can be, at
it
least.
was defining all those grievances and doing it in this joyful, fun way, which I'm like, fuck me, this is perfect.
It
I
is
love
so
it so
good.
much, and I had such a good time.
It was a joy.
Evan Rachel Wood was wonderful.
What a joy.
She was like, just
all of these sort of like high, like kind of typically you would think highbrow associated or
Yeah,
more kind of like granola actors, I would say, because she tends to do things that are a bit more artsy fartsy, let's say.
like Marilyn Manson. Yeah.
Sure.
Rainn Wilson plays Dr. Demento. We had Toby
good.
Huss as Al's father,
Yeah.
and I loved the whole, you want to do one thing and the father won't have it.
Right.
It works at some...
It's the archetype.
Exactly.
And they nailed it.
They nailed that.
Yeah.
Julianne Nicholson is his mother, and
So good.
she's perfect. Also, I did miss this completely. The narrator is Diedrich Bader.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right?
oh, shit. Like,
he's great with the
yeah.
VO.
Oh, he's good. Plus, on top of that, we got Will Forte, Quinta Brunson, Jack Black,
So
Michael
many
McKean,
cameos.
Pat Oswald, Conan O'Brien, Arturo Castro. I have even more names from that party scene. I mean, it's like
it's super stacked. This
it
movie,
is
it's like
stacked with so many.
It's
fun
just a silly
people.
cameo centric.
But not like. I mean, while biopics do
Yeah,
that.
no,
But
exactly.
what I
it's
liked
not in
was
a,
that
in a
it-
cheap.
I like that it was largely confined
It's
to
camp.
that pool party scene.
Yeah.
Where they were really leaning into it because we see Divine and like
That's
Wolfman
the
Jack.
it's aware. It's like aware of the joke.
Yeah,
and
Pee Wee Herman.
and it doesn't seem to. It's not just shoehorning it for the sake of making the appearance. It's like aware that that's the It's so aware of its own perception that it becomes like you watch Walk Hard for more of a straightforward parody, right?
Yeah.
Like a clever parody, and then you watch something like Weird. A Weird Al Yankovic story.
Yeah.
You watch that, and it's sort of the double turnaround of it.
Yeah.
It's sort of the understudies of the understudies got sick, and then it's like it's that sort of when you watch an improv exercise where they do that sort of thing. That's the absurdist double left turn that they seem to do with this movie.
Yeah,
throughout.
They do it a lot. No, it's a lot of fun because it's not like it's not like a film where each person is trotted out as if they're like, you should care about this person. It's more like, oh, what a fun scene. How great that these two got to play these people and play off each other.
Yeah.
We got to see it. Like, it all just works.
Just fun and silly.
Everyone's having a good time, and it comes through. And I mean, people said as much. They were like, it was over really quick. So this all began really as a parody trailer. And it was made for Funny or Die. And it was kind of because Walk Hard and Walk the Line and Ray and all these other movies had come out, about these biopics or these parody about biopics.
Yeah.
So they did this, Funny or Die trailer. But it was always intended to be a parody. And it was always meant to, like, critique the formulaic approach.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. Like the unsupportive parents, as we mentioned, the love story, the drug abuse, right? Trouble with the law. There's all these like rise and fall tropes, and they do all of them.
Yeah, it's like you go higher and higher and higher, and then you have you go on the bender, and then it's
right.
the redemption
Jim
arc
Morrison scene where he's like, "Should I get it out?"
Yeah,
which is so ridiculous. Also, the whole thing was filmed in 18 days. That's what I get.
18 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. People had fun.
God, that was fast.
People were doing good work.
I'm sorry. This is really well put together.
Isn't that
for
amazing? 18 days, like
any kind of feature. 18
guys,
days.
I can't.
Fucking wild.
I can't do much in 18 days. I'm just gonna say.
So I can't do anything in
if
18 days.
I'm like if I cooked a few dinners, like
I can't cook dinner in 18 days.
Yeah.
I starve.
I also liked about this movie that time is like a flat circle. Because it ends with Amish Paradise, but the movie's supposed to be ending in the 80s, and that's clearly like a 90s song.
Right.
There are all kinds of. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
None of that matters.
This is not going to be that kind of.
Nope.
There's not going to be even that base level of symmetry that you see again in something like Walk the Line, where there is a little bit of that. That it does end where it begins, but there's sort of. I mean, even that film looks like a work of like high art compared to this. Yeah. And that is supposed to be a campy piece of parody. And then you watch something like Weird and you're like, oh, that's this is some
really amped up.
Some goofy, crazy shit.
I mean, also because like, okay, wait, I wrote it down. The whole thing about as a kid, he's like, I'm gonna grow up to be the best. Well, perhaps not technically the best, but arguably the most famous accordion player in an extremely specific genre of music.
Yeah. They say that like 3 or 4 times. It's
and
so
then
funny.
It becomes the award, the Grammy award that he wins. The
big award he wins at the end.
And then suck it, Dad.
Yes. It's so good. It's like that's the ultimate like
to get back at his dad. The whole thing was about his dad.
But if you want to talk double left turns, like in Walk Hard, there is some sort of reconciliation, like a comedy reconciliation, and then in this it's like a full rejection of that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
In terms of just, it's nice to see there's different layers, there's different levels of. It's nice to see a spectrum.
Yes.
Of parody. There's no one right way.
No.
Or linear way of doing it.
It's following so many different tropes. It's so many.
But
movies.
you can take whatever turns you want. You can subvert it however you like.
I mean, the whole cartel angle.
Insane. Take the shot.
Fucking
so
insane.
Fucking crazy.
Like, it just, but the idea that Madonna, all she cared about was power. So of course it made sense.
Right.
You know? In a way, it had a logic to it that fit the movie. And this whole movie centers, strangely, the fulcrum is kind of this idea that when Weird Al parodies a song, they get the Weird Al bump. Yeah, which helps the song.
So it's a clout thing she's chasing, and she's like, if I get closer to this guy and he parodies me, it validates the legacy of my music.
Yes,
which there's a lot of truth to that. Actually,
I mean, there is in the sense that they never dated, and they certainly never like stole each other's gum out of each other's mouths.
Sure, but like a surgeon was a.
What happened was like. He was doing, his thing, and somebody who worked for Weird Al was, I guess, with Madonna somehow, and she knew that this person worked with Weird Al and was like kind of casually mentioning like, oh, I wonder when he's going to do like a surgeon. Yeah. And that, of course, gets back to Al, and then he's just like, oh, okay, like, sure, I'll do that. Yeah. And that's really the whole story. The fact that they exploded it into this huge drama that carries is the engine of the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of great.
It's amazing. And the whole like is it Eat It or I'm Fat, where he's mad that Michael Jackson
it's like
it's like that they're deliberately saying that he wrote an original work, and then Michael Jackson's the one who
would copy it, who would do that
who would do that. It's great.
Funny. And those scenes, I mean, with Will Forte and Al Yankovic playing the like,
I love that.
What do they say every time they like, stop, I've heard enough?
Yes, stop, I've heard enough. So fun.
It's worth mentioning that Al Yankovic re-recorded the songs for this film. Love that. It's his voice, but it's fresh, and I think that's really great.
I think that I'll say that fooled me and made me think that maybe because Daniel Radcliffe can sing.
Oh, he can.
And, he's been on Broadway.
But the reason I think they went and did that was because of really Bohemian Rhapsody, because it was Freddie Mercury's voice.
Oh.
With Rami Malek. So they were like, well, if that's an acceptable thing, then we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Or also like, we're mimicking. I think Bohemian Rhapsody was one of the things that really encouraged them to go ahead and make this. They did get Roku interested, but it was really when Daniel Radcliffe joined that they like kicked in the real money to make it happen.
I mean, it really does help in terms of boosting...
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Putting it on the radar. I'm really I'm grateful to see that casting. And
it's like also just like Daniel Radcliffe, like, good use of your power, buddy.
Exactly.
Good use of your powers.
Exactly.
Love it.
Love it. We can't help but
I love it.
Appreciate that.
I'm into it. Like I said, it didn't get a theatrical release, which is a bummer. So it's not going to be considered for the Academy Awards, but Creative Arts.
What a shame! It could have swept.
I know, and it premiered at the Toronto Film Festival back in September, but it was released on Roku, like I said, in November 4th this year. Some facts to clear up from the movie. Al's parents were
only a couple.
It's
mostly true.
Yankovic's parents were actually very supportive, and they purchased him his first accordion when he was 7.
Very sweet.
He was in the same band for 4 decades. However, they were never roommates. But he's been working with the same people, forever, loyal. My Bologna, which was recorded in a campus bathroom at Cal Polytechnic. There's actually a plaque there indicating that
that's
awesome. This is where it was recorded. And so it was Dr. Demento who did play Weird Al's early stuff on the radio and got him sort of locally famous. Also, Al does not drink, does not take drugs. He's a clean and sober kind of fella.
He's a clean dude.
He's a very clean dude. And of course, the movie plays at the idea that he gets
he was this big dirty boy.
He met Madonna once for about 45 seconds backstage. But like I said, she did suggest like a surgeon to his people. Did you have reviews, or does it even matter?
You know what? Well, it's kind of a yes and no in that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see when people receive this stuff for its intended value, like, and they have fun with it, and that's like I really liked how well received. And then that comes down to just the way it was not just marketed, just the quality of the work. Like there's a certain quality level that comes with something that is as well received as this is. And so, I do want to point out just a couple things, like looking at like Rotten Tomatoes on the critic side and the audience side, it's almost equal. Okay. 84% tomatometer, 83% audience score. Like it feels very sort of like populist friendly. Like it's just something that is aware.
There are some people who are never going to like Weird Al.
Exactly. There's some people who are just not into this thing, right?
That's okay.
But for it to be as favorable as it is, I think it's just, like it's suitably silly is what it mainly says. And then Eileen Jones from the Jacobin, Weird, the Al Yankovic Story is a biopic parody that mocks the prestige form at every turn and may very well save you from the worst interludes of family togetherness this weekend, which is about the holidays.
Good call.
I like that. And then
I hope she's okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good for her. Yeah, good for her.
Should hang out, girl. Let's get drinks.
Let's see. There was something else I wanted to. Matt Singer from Screen Crush, and his reviews also. He wrote like a little blurb on Letterboxd, gave it 3 stars, but also a heart, which is like it's like it's not gonna not gonna change your life, but it's a fun ride, right? Like I think that's a fair review.
I gotta say, it's kind of genius that Letterboxd has both the star rating and the heart.
I like that.
Because you can rate something 2 stars and put a big old heart on it.
Right.
You're like, oh, this is trash, and I loved it.
I feel that way about a number of movies, right? Like
I know this is like crap.
Wild Wild West. Like, I'll ride or die on that one, but
wow.
It's not good. But it's a ride or die for me. But like he says, the naked truth is that the Weird the Al Yankovic Story seems destined for a fate like Leslie Nielsen's autobiography or Al's own UHF as a cult object beloved by a few for the sheer oddness of its perspective and sense of humor. And I'm jumping ahead. Weird won't make anyone forget Walk Hard, but it might make some folks go and break out their old Weird Al records and give them a spin for the first time in a while.
True.
And then he recommends, I recommend Dare to be Stupid.
No,
which I really like that.
I did put together, like, I went on Tidal immediately and put together a playlist, and I had like the new recordings and the old ones, and it's like, fuck me, these are fun.
I think those are really the only sort of like
main, that was great.
Sort of.
Again, this is such a new thing as well, and it is in a way. I think if you had never seen anything Weird Al related and you watched this, like if you were a kid and you got plopped down, I think you would love it. I think it would open. It's a wonderful way to get into Weird Al.
He's very kid. I remember as a kid myself.
Oh, we had it. No, my brothers had it. We had Alapalooza.
Yes.
We had what was the one that looked like the Nirvana cover?
Oh, I don't know. Anyway. I know for my sister and I, we were like later to the game. We were running with scissors. We were running with scissors house. So
running with
that
scissors
was my
house.
shit.
We were running with scissors house.
We were running with scissors.
Yeah,
we ran with scissors.
We had those like early 90s.
We were certainly
ones.
later on in the game.
Yeah.
And even then, I remember we got that album, and even then, I remember it being one of those like, oh, he has like a history, right?
Yeah. I also remember, like liking that stuff, and like we would listen to it in the car, like on car trips and things.
It's just fun.
It was fun. And
it's recognizable tunes, obviously.
Well, and it's like, right, exactly. That's the magic, is he's weaponizing what makes songs good, like kind of against themselves. And he's doing what everyone does on their own in the car, right? Where you make up your own lyrics to shit. But he's just very consistent in his production value and how he does it. And he's good, and he's got the energy, and I tell people, I'm like, oh, my first concert was Bob Dylan, which is sort of true, but it was really Weird Al. Like,
that's awesome.
Which
you should say that.
I know, but because there was
Bob Dylan's kind of like,
because there was kind of like definitely you're weird, like as the name implies, but it was kind of like liking Mystery Science Theater or Monty Python. It was kind of like people saw it as incredibly nerdy. And I kind of felt like, even though I love this, I can't come out about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's sort of, there's a self-consciousness. Because
I felt very self-conscious.
We're even here now, like, we're in our own bubble, you know, even in this, like, LA cool kid world. Yeah, like, intellectual hipster is the thing in
true.
metropolitan areas, right?
And I felt it, but I felt it, like, even earlier. You know, I think even when I'd say, sorry, I'm trying to fight my cat from, she's chewing on stuff.
She's like, no.
But I felt like, it was just kind of, I can't let anyone know that I really liked this, even though it is such a just injection of joy. I mean, I think my favorite scene, apart from like the whole pool party thing, is when he does the, like, another one rides the bus. Because as a kid, I never understood, like, he's gonna sit by you.
I mean, I've heard some of these songs, like, I've heard some of his own songs before I even heard the originals, right?
Oh, right.
Like,
no, same.
I heard Amish Paradise before I heard Gangster's Paradise.
No, absolutely. No, the Rye or the Kaiser. Like, that I heard more. There were so many songs I came to know because of the parodies.
I think I know the Star Wars and American Pie. I think I know both, all the lyrics through, but I definitely learned the Star Wars one. I learned his parody first.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many examples of this, and I mean, in the way that The Simpsons, so many of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror parody episodes introduced me to things that I hadn't seen before. Yeah, I didn't see The Shining before I saw the Simpsons version.
And some of that stuff's arguably more effective, like, or it burns in your head more. Where it's feeling fine. And then,
this is less encouraging.
This is less encouraging. Exactly. It's so good.
Homa, me and some of the other ghouls are concerned you not. Yeah. Can't talk now. Eating.
So good. So good.
Anyway.
No, it's great.
Thank you for those. Thank you for those reviews. I want to mention that although this is a recent release, other movies that came out the same weekend: Armageddon Time, which I haven't seen yet. Nocebo? I don't know why I even wrote that down.
That's okay.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It exists.
The Estate, Shadow Master, Bardo, Causeway, and My Policeman.
There you go.
All right. Now, our director this week is Eric Appel, or Apple. I want to say Appel, but it's Apple. It's just E-L. Anyway.
Yeah.
Eric Appel was born August 13th, 1980 in Long Island. His parents divorced when he was about 5 years old, so his mother moved him and his sister back to Endicott, New York, and they went to live with their grandparents. His grandpa was a painter, and I guess he and his grandmother used to go and, sell paintings at shows on weekends. Also, his aunts and uncles were all very creative folk and people, so he got to grow up among a lot of interesting. His uncle, for instance, made a stop motion film, one in like the 80s when they got a VHS camera. And the finished product really fascinated Eric Apple.
He's in a creatively supportive environment.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And kind of like, suddenly cameras, movies, TV shows, he became obsessed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is magic. I want to do this. Also, he grew up near $1.50 second run theater, and he just saw everything. He's like, for a space of about 3, 4, 5 years, he's like, I saw everything came there. And I don't know, we had like a second run theater in our town called the Danbury Dollar Saver. And it was a revelation. If you
There's
just
a
waited.
People's Theater, you see something for
a few
couple
weeks,
bucks, then you
done
go.
deal.
Yeah.
And man, like the big buckets of popcorn you could get at that place.
Yeah,
because the whole place was just a concession stand, like every movie.
Because that's where they make that's really where
that's where every movie theater is, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they should sell nice things.
I mean, why not?
And popcorn.
Why not?
Overpriced popcorn's great. We all accept it.
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
He went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Again, he grew up around a lot of creative people, so that probably seemed like a good call. But he said he spent more time helping his film production majoring roommate than on his own projects for a degree in computer animation. So he clearly was feeling the pull of cinema. He went to and eventually performed with an improv school at the University of Pittsburgh. And then he moves to New York City and falls in with UCB around 2002. He interns, takes classes. He's like, I was basically living there. I just wanted to live and breathe comedy, which I'm sure at that time was
probably pretty dope.
Yeah. He ends up getting a job writing for the Andy Milonakis show.
All right.
After that, he transitioned to like Crank Yankers, Human Giant. In 2007, he started working for Funny or Die, which was early days Funny or Die. And he literally is like, I remember the days we were just sitting around a conference table with our laptops trying to decide what to do. And, you know, he said what was great about that was that you were really encouraged to just go out and shoot something and come back. And that was where he really learned that he preferred to direct. Like, you know, he had done some acting, he had done some writing, but he really, it's like, oh, no, I really enjoy the directing. He just
sunk his teeth in.
He got an opportunity to like make some shit and just like get his feet wet. We should all be so lucky. And then so he directed a lot of TV after that. Eagle Heart, NTSF, SD, SUV.
Yeah, I remember this.
Did a few episodes of The Office, New Girl, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Son of Zorn, and Die Hard. But Weird is his feature debut.
Hell yeah.
So what a fucking debut.
Let's go, man. More to come. More to come, man.
Very good
Congrats.
work. Yeah.
We're both sipping.
I'm actually taking a sip, yes.
I love that for us.
Who's your best supporting player?
I mean...
There's so many.
Shit. God, I'm not gonna lie. I loved Rainn Wilson.
Okay.
But also I really like the mom. And the whole just like
those are
I don't
good
think
choices.
You should do what you want to or be who you are. Like, I love the delivery of that line so much, which is in the trailer. It's
Julianne Nicholson.
Yeah, I do think she really nailed that.
She's
it's
a
really
great actress.
Yeah.
One of those people that people know her face, but not her name.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's great.
How about you?
I really love Will Forte.
Will Forte. I mean, there's so many, right? He really does such a great job.
He really made me like.
He was really fun.
Giggle.
This is very in his lane too. Like if you liked this, you would love like MacGruber or something stupid like that. Like it's so dumb and fun.
I loved Flight of the Conchords.
Yes,
but to this day, I think my favorite one is the one he's in where it's like, what's all the commotion?
Yes, exactly. He just is. Just watch all of Flight of the Conchords if you can, because that's a show that just
it's rich.
Even now, it's like just it should even now be getting more recognition.
That was a show that when it came out,
not that the people aren't getting their desserts involved in that, which I'm happy for them. But
that was a real.
I gotta rewatch it.
That was a wholesome show.
Yeah,
dude. Speaking of something that was like very soft-spoken and beautiful and sweet in a lot of ways,
but like, also silly and goofy and took like left turns.
These sweet New Zealanders lost in Manhattan, and just I love Murray trying to give them advice about how to look cool. He's like
cool for the meetings of the bands.
Yeah, and he's like, how about a bit of hay?
Yeah,
just a little bit of hay coming out.
It's very cute.
Yeah, it's such a farm boy.
Yeah, it's very
anyway,
very wholesome.
Yeah. Would you watch this again?
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah,
absolutely.
I need to. I need to see it again. It's like every year at Christmas you should watch this.
I think there's something. Just maybe it's the timing of it, or I don't know what. But
just
there's
feels
something
like a fun Christmas. It's
a
not
holiday.
A Christmas movie, but it's a movie you watch on Christmas. Like some people watch Back to the Future. Some people watch Clue. Some people watch some other. What? Get yourself a little tradition with Weird Al.
It has a cozy quality maybe to it.
Love it
because it's again so wholesome.
I think that scene where he figures out where the audience is so far ahead of him in figuring out that he's gonna parody My Sharona with My Bologna.
Yes.
That.
But the discovery of it is done in a very earnest and it takes its time with it.
It takes its time. Because it's
the realization.
It's such an important moment because you realize this is the moment of every song.
They killed it.
And I
great
loved
directing,
it.
Great casting.
I loved it so much because I saw this. Friends had gotten it ready on the day it came out, but they screened it outdoors, like on their garage, and it was really fucking cold. So everybody had
still had that.
blankets.
It has a vibe.
No, but the fact is, despite being freezing and very uncomfortable, I loved it. I stayed. I didn't want to miss any of it.
That's a lot. That says a lot.
Yes.
That you should note that. That was worth noting.
I endured some discomfort and continued to enjoy this movie. It was so much fun.
And if you haven't picked up on this already, Victoria's not going to just put up with discomfort. Okay,
that's right.
I hate it. This is on par with Prestige Cinema. That she did that and still walked out with as favorable
maybe I should view more things in refrigerated conditions.
I wouldn't, but if you want to, I respect that if that's the angle you want to go.
I'm just saying that if something is good enough, you will endure a lot of discomfort.
If it's good enough, you can ignore you can ignore the elements against you.
Yeah.
Look, I sat through all 5 endings of Lord of the Rings and I had to pee like Seabiscuit, and I still
but
I did it.
I lost my my stamina by the time we got to Return of the King. By the time that came out,
you were already
and we were at hour 3 and it still wasn't over. I remember I was just shifting in my seat. It was like, okay, they're going back. All right, they're back in the Shire, so it's almost over. All right, it's almost over. And then it's like, no, there's like a half hour more of the Shire. I just end it. I just want this to be over.
Come on already.
I was so upset.
Yeah, where's the eagles?
Well, because I saw Fellowship of the Ring, and I had never read Tolkien, so I was just...
Fellowship is like, honestly, the most... it's the one for me.
It was on in the hotel in Vegas, and it was like, this is the part where he pulls the sword into himself.
They were doing a little marathon there. It was fun. And we
the little ones. They took the little ones.
I followed you to the end of the earth. Oh my God.
I will not let the White City fall.
So good.
All right, that's the end of this show.
That's the end of it. Cut it all out.
I want to say thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
Like so much.
Big time. Thank you.
Like we've
been doing this for a minute.
Yeah, we're here for the joy, but it's a joy to discover that we've found maybe some resonance out there. So if you do like the show and you want to see it grow and get better, it would really help us out if you leave us a review. Apple Podcasts is great, but honestly, we'll take it anywhere.
We have pillows with lips on them. You could buy them.
Yeah, there's a link in the show notes.
You could kiss them.
You can also email us at abreathoffreshmovie@gmail.com. We love emails. Hit us up.
Kiss, kiss.
Kiss, kiss. See you next week.